first one, but ignore second one. And obviously it's a very tricky question, but any random guesses?
Sleeping and waking up.
Okay. Fine then. So willpower and environment. And most of the time we ignore the environment and we always try to maximize our willpower. And how much we maximize our willpower, we fail to achieve what we want in our lives. So how this is going to be change our lives? What exactly willpower and what is environment? How these two can change our lives and what we should learn from this, I will be talking about. And give your full attention for next mostly 40 minutes to 1 hour. And then we will have a session where you will be learning something new which you might not aware of so far in your life. Yeah, a lot of examples and all you are already aware of, but the science behind these things I will be explaining today. Okay.
Today's title and the topic is willpower versus environment, and why your surroundings matters the most than your strength, and why exactly I given this tagline also we will get to know today. And before that, let me ask you some questions like, when you wanted to wake up early morning at 5 o'clock, and how many times, I think you use alarm, right? How many times you snooze your alarm button and then sleep again? Is anybody there like that, who keep alarm at
No,
4:30
sir.
and then just snooze?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
you
Confirm
wanted to
something.
read the book, but you keep your mobile aside, and then you started reading, but suddenly when when you receive any phone call, then you keep your book away and then you don't want to read again. Do you experience this?
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Before I used
Sir.
to do that thing, sir. Now I am not doing that thing, sir.
No, you are not doing after joining in English therapy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then fine. So we will talk about why these two things are very important in our lives to get succeed, and what exactly, how one will impact the other one also we'll see. And first one is, a lot of people don't even know what is willpower. They use every day, but mostly they might not be aware of what exactly the willpower could be. Willpower is nothing but the mental strength, okay? The mental strength or mental energy to resist the temptations and make conscious decisions, okay? So suppose the temptations could be early morning, you are feeling so comfortable in the bed and you don't want to wake up, but you have to have that some energy in the morning to push yourself out of the bed. And that pushing yourself out of the bed or any comfortable situations is called as a willpower. And suppose you are doing gym and you are on diet and you wanted to eat some junk food, and controlling that temptation and eating healthy food, that temptation controlling something is there, right? The decision which comes from the willpower. And the people who are having high willpower always succeed in making themselves more disciplined. Willpower is nothing but discipline and keeping yourself on the track without getting deviated and distracted. But a lot of times what happens in this kind of situations is like, we always have a lot of limited willpower, and then we ended up doing always what exactly pleasurable and more happy things. So willpower is a limited resource, and that gets exhausted throughout the day. Maybe in the morning time you have a lot of willpower, you can do a lot of conscious choices, but by the end of the day you may not have that much big willpower, and you will eventually get tired of these things, and then you wanted to do something more pleasurable and funny things. That's why most of the time people take care of their day properly. Half of the day goes very well because they wanted to do something and they follow some schedule and timetable and some routine. But by the end of the day, they feel very fatigued and they get tired and exhausted and they don't want to control themselves. And then they ended up taking something which could be more pleasurable and more tempting. Okay. The more decisions you make, the weaker your willpower becomes. Simple. What kind of decisions you make? Early morning, when you want to wake up early at 5 o'clock, then you will have to take one decision. Shall I wake up at this time or after 30 minutes? So that decisions, whatever you are going to take, right? At that time, your willpower get consumed. You will be using your willpower. Think of that you have given 100 rupees of willpower, and to take that decision you will be spending 10 rupees. And then after that you are taking the breakfast, At the time you are tempted to take the either idli or dosa, and one is a healthy food and one is a healthy only but highly food. So at the time also you have to control yourself, and at that time you have to make one more decision, and at that time also you'll be spending some amount of energy, and that energy is like a willpower. So the mental energy every time you'll be spending in taking the decisions makes you feel exhausted by the end of the day. And as I said, willpower is a limited resource and it can get exhausted if you use it more and more. When our willpower get exhausted, the more decisions you make in your day, the more you use the willpower. Clear? And willpower is like a muscle. The more you use it, suppose you are, if you know the gym terminology, if you go to gym and then if you are training your muscle, the muscle gets bigger, right? But there is a limitation for the training also. If you train entire day by the, okay, if I train for 1 hour, then my muscle becomes so big, and if I train for 24/7, then muscle get exhausted, right? It get tired and it get tired also. So that's why willpower is like a muscle, and if you can train it, it will become bigger, but you can't completely use it to that level because it also get tired also. So that's why willpower is a mental energy that resists the temptations and make you conscious decisions. When you have a very high willpower, you will be more disciplined person. Willpower is directly proportional to your discipline, and the less willpower means less discipline. And how many people are disciplined people in our class? Do you think you are a disciplined person?
Yes,
Raise your
sir.
hand.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Lot
Yes,
of
sir.
disciplined people are there. Then why are you not sending the habit reports? If I'm not checking your habit reports, then why are you not writing the feedbacks? Okay. So whenever I'm checking, then only you are doing it. Otherwise, you are not doing it. Then you are not self-motivated people, you are external motivated people. Whenever I'm motivating you, whenever I'm asking you, then only you are doing it. And remaining times you are not at all doing. So if you are such kind of person, then I don't think that you are having the discipline. You are having forced discipline. Okay. You are getting discipline with my attention. But if you can do it without my intervention, then I can consider you that self-motivated, self-disciplined people. You are disciplined, but not self-disciplined. If you are not doing anything, if I am not asking, okay, so make sure if you are doing it regularly without without my intervention also, then I can consider you that you are a self-motivated and self-disciplined person. But nothing wrong in sometimes we may be self-disciplined, sometimes we not be self-disciplined. But I will tell you what exactly causes that things, and will give you complete clarity. Now you understood what is a willpower and what are all the things it will take care of in our day-to-day life. And then now let's understand the other part, other side of the coin. Other side of the coin is the power of environment. And what exactly comes under environment is the people around us, those who are considering our people around us, they are come under environment, and the places also, the place we are living in and the places we go to also, that comes as a place, environment. And the habits and the triggers. So habits, what we do in day-to-day life, that also consist of our in the part of environment only. And the triggers nothing but suppose the cues, whatever which trigger you, right? Generally, if you are walking on the road, then suddenly the smell of that pani puri comes into your mind. That is a trigger. Okay. And if you are going on the road and suddenly you saw the one beautiful dress and you wanted to buy it, that is also one kind of trigger. So like whatever which immediately create the thoughts in your mind to take an action is called as a trigger. And these are all the four things comes under environment: the people whom you associate with, and the place you live in, and the habits which you follow, and the triggers which you get triggered by. These are all comes under environment part. And why I'm saying that environment is so powerful, okay? And environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. And there are a lot of times, if you see, our class is one kind of environment, and the moment when you join here, then automatically you change your behavior because everybody is behaving in certain way. Then immediately you also wanted to be like them and you wanted to do like them. And then generally there are a lot of times we see, I have read recently in one of the newspaper about the Bihar. Generally when we think of Bihar, we feel of illiteracy and such things. But what was shocking was, I have seen there was a one village. In that village, lot of youngsters are IPS and IAS officers only. All the people from the village got started being either becoming a IAS or IPS officer. And recently also one more news came recently when JEE mains results came, and out of 30 members, 29 people cracked the JEE mains exam. And the people who studied in the same classroom only with very less resources, they did not go to any Narayana Sri Chaitanya to high level kind of IIT foundation schools. They just studied in one classroom and only one teacher taught them and trained them. I like a home tuition. And then all the people out of 30 people have got selected for that JEE mains. So that's how the environment can impact. And there are a lot of things generally. imagine there are so many ways your environment can impact your behavior, and that the kind of place you are in, that will have huge impact on you. Either you'll become a successful person, either you'll become a normal person. And that's why there was a very great saying, your net worth depends on your network. Your net worth depends on your network, and what kind of people you are associated with, that's how your life will be. And there was a study conducted by Kellogg's. Okay, one big institute was there, that was a conducted one study. And in that study, what they did was, after the graduation, they went on to track the people who got graduated from the same business school. Okay, it's a MBA business school, and in US they have conducted one test. And what they did was, all the people who got graduated in the same year from the same college, after 20 years, they started tracking the people, what they are doing in their life. And what they found out was, after 10 years, some of the people became billionaires, some of the people became millionaires, some of the people became just normal employees. And what the shocking truth was, they identified that their net worth started defining by the 10 people with whom they with every time constantly communicate with, and they have the kind of time spent with. So the people have found that the people who are spending most of the time with, that's how the ideas and the lives will be designed. And these people who went on to become a billionaires, they started mostly associating with the billionaires. That's why they became a billionaires. And the people who become a billionaires, their network is having the millionaires. That's why they become a millionaires. In the same way, when they are employees, then they also become employees, because their entire circle depends on, like, those who completely depends on the employment. So this is how they have conducted the study. And then they told that it's very important what exactly with whom we associate with and what place we live in. And environment is the biggest factor in deciding your success and your level of success. You can be successful, but at what level, at what rate you will be successful, depends on your environment. So environment is so powerful in shaping the people's attitude and discipline and lives and morals and ethics. And if you are in the right environment, then you can get a lot of things. But what exactly happens in the back end, we'll see. So as I said, environment is so powerful than motivation or willpower. And you know that motivation is a temporary. As I said, willpower is a limited resource, and with the willpower only you will be able to motivate it and do something. But what permanent is, your environment is constant, and with the environment you can shape your lives in the way you wanted. And environment shapes long-term behavior far more effectively than the motivation or discipline. Whenever there is a motivation, you will do only one day. But if you are surrounded by the good people, then you can have a long-term behavior. And generally, right, before joining in my class also, you might have watched a lot of English videos, and you tried so many English channels, and you might have followed so many English pages. And that day you decided that, okay, today onwards, I'm going to work on my English communication skills, no matter what happens. That motivation is there, and you immediately started, maybe you might have bought one book, or maybe started reading and by having grammar rules, something you might have done that one day. And next day you have done something, maybe first day you have done 1 hour, and next day 30 minutes. And then after that, slowly your motivation goes down. And then after again 6 months or 1 year, when you realize that, again when you go through any problem with communication skills in English, then again you realize that, okay, I want to do again. But that's a temporary. Every time you do it for 1 day or 2 days, and then you'll stop it. And what misses is the environment where everybody is working towards a similar goal. That environment is missing in your life. Because of that, every time you tried and failed. And that's why when you join in this class, it's environment. It is going to shape your long-term behavior in achieving a goal of speaking in English. And that's why whoever joins in this class, who continue for 1 month, 2 months, then they will automatically become good communicators, and they achieve what they want in their lives. So this is something, environment is much powerful than motivation. And that's why I always find the right environment to achieve your goal than just completely depending on you. I will tell you why you should not completely depend on you. That you might be thinking, sir, I have very great willpower and I will be able to do everything on my own. But why it is not suggestible, and why the scientific reason behind I am saying these things, I'll tell you now. And that is going to be something new for you. Okay. Yeah. So the neuroscience behind willpower, why I am saying that you should always be part of one group or environment where you can shape and design your life. Why you should not depend on completely willpower. Willpower is for making the conscious decisions with your mental energy, right? And why exactly you should not completely depend on your willpower to do something every day in your life. And some of you already know few brain parts from my previous presentation. May I know 2-3 brain areas which you know from my previous presentations?
Amygdala,
Amygdala,
prefrontal
prefrontal
cortex,
cortex,
amygdala,
Prefrontal cortex.
Amygdala prefrontal cortex.
Great. You know those two parts, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I do know those all part only. First one is the prefrontal cortex. Okay, I'll show you where is the prefrontal cortex. Those who have not watched my previous presentations. Okay, but you can watch it, then you will get more clarity. 1 minute. Okay, so this area belongs to prefrontal cortex. Okay, this whatever you are just be behind your forehead, right? There is something behind your forehead. Your forehead part, till here you can see this area is prefrontal cortex. Okay, this red color is amygdala. Okay, this red color is amygdala. So the first one is prefrontal cortex. What is prefrontal cortex? Is prefrontal cortex is the area of your brain which is a forebrain. Okay, your forebrain, we call that as a forebrain. This involves in thinking, planning, decision making, and executing. Okay, thinking, planning, and executing, and it is a CEO of our brain. It's like a president of our brain, CEO, and who takes charge of everything whatever we do in our lives in terms of taking the decisions and executing the decisions and planning and long-term planning and all taken care by this brain area called prefrontal cortex, which is right behind your forehead. And in the child's it is not yet developed, and as you grow in your life it will grow. Okay, it will develop. So that's why in the childhood days they don't know what to think, and that's why after 18 years only they get a right to vote, right? Why? Because they don't have that much maturity to think something and to decide something. So prefrontal cortex is the area where it is responsible for thinking and planning. As I said, right, previously, willpower is completely taken care by this prefrontal cortex. Why? Because it is the one who is thinking and taking the decisions, right? As I said, in a willpower concept, willpower nothing but mental energy to take the decisions consciously. Who is taking that conscious decisions is your prefrontal cortex. So every time when you take conscious decisions and your CEO is working to decide what to do, what not to do, either to wake up early, either to read the book, either to eat the healthy food. Every time you are making some choices in your day to day, and those choices are executing by your prefrontal cortex. Remember, that is the brain area which you have seen on the screen. And then second one is 1 minute, striatum. Okay, the second area, this is something new and I know I have not discussed so far. And if you see this area, right, this area, this whatever is the area is a striatum. Okay, it is a second brain. You can think of like it's a vice president in your brain. As I said, prefrontal cortex is a CEO, and it's a vice CEO or president or vice president. So what striatum will do is, whatever you do something repeatedly in your day-to-day life, whatever you do something in a day-to-day life repeatedly, then most of the time when you are doing repetitive work, then CEO don't have to take care of those everyday tasks, right? What he will do, he will assign to his assistant like a vice president, striatum. So generally when you are brushing every day, and you don't have to take the decision by your prefrontal cortex, because that you are doing every day, and you're bathing and you're eating, these kind of things generally taken care by your striatum. What you create as a habit, after some time when you do repeatedly, it create as a habit. And at the time your brain, especially your prefrontal cortex, will not take charge of that. Instead what it will do, it assign the task to the striatum, and now vice president will take care of those things what you do repeatedly. So generally, whenever you are doing something as a habit, then your prefrontal cortex will not take care of that. It will give the task to the striatum where the habits formed and developed, and that part will take care of your work, and without creating much pressure or the more burden on the prefrontal cortex. Because whenever your prefrontal cortex is involved, it consumes so much of your willpower and mental energy, and every time when you are using that, then it get exhausted. Instead of that, what it will do, whatever you are doing repeatedly commonly, it will assign that task to the striatum, which is like a vice president of your brain. And there what happens is, whenever the striatum comes in, there is a one more brain area which comes into the picture called amygdala. Okay, so that you already know, which I explained in previous, and which is like a emotional brain. We call it as a limbic brain. What it will do, it will constantly take emotional kind of decisions. Suppose you know that eating sweet is not good for you and you're diabetic, but still there is inside one more voice like, okay, let it be, you will not die by eating one day, and you eat it like that, you will think, right? Who is giving that kind of suggestions to you is not your prefrontal cortex, is amygdala. This monkey brain is the brain which always wants something so much pleasurable, and it wants fun and entertainment and nothing, whatever you are doing every day, right, in your life. Before joining in my class, whatever the life which you are living, right, that all life lived by this small red color area called amygdala. Okay, that we call it as a monkey brain or lizard brain or limbic brain. So what it will do, it is it is responsible for emotional response, emotional reasoning, and emotional response. And we are all emotional beings. Okay, that's why our life completely filled with a lot of emotions. But prefrontal cortex is the logical brain, it thinking brain. It will think and take the action, and it will think and do something. That's why when you are a child, you don't think much. You will do something out of whatever you feel. You will be doing. Either you will cry, you will shout, and you will do whatever you want. You will feel hungry and you eat something. But when you are growing up, then you started thinking and doing the action. But unfortunately nowadays, even adults also not thinking, they are just impulsively doing something. So the impulse behavior, whatever you do impulsively without controlling yourself, you will be doing immediately whatever you want to do. That behavior comes by amygdala. So this striatum is the one. Either suppose you have the habit of waking up early in the morning, but somewhere in the down the line, that one voice comes that, okay, let's sleep for some more time. So that voice is coming from the amygdala. And you know that eating junk food is not good, but suddenly some voice comes from in, okay, you are not eating every day, right? Today you can eat junk food. It's okay. And prefrontal cortex tell that, okay, today Saturday session, special session, you should join. But somewhere it comes that, okay, anyhow, Rakesh sir will upload in a YouTube, then I'll watch YouTube video. So these are all the conflicts which happens, right? This all the dialogue happens between prefrontal cortex and amygdala. Okay. And in the middle, there is a striatum. What it will do is, it will try to reduce the burden on the prefrontal cortex, whatever it try to do. And here the big challenge is, that's why we don't have any routines also in our life. Today we wake up maybe 5 o'clock, tomorrow we wake up at 9 o'clock. And then every time you are taking conscious decisions by prefrontal cortex, then you are exhausted by the afternoon itself. And that's why you feel very difficulty in doing big task in your life, because you are spending so much of energy on simple task can be automated by the striatum, but you are not making as a routine and creating so much of burden on your brain, that is called prefrontal cortex. Clear? So because of that, most of the time we get exhausted. And then you come to me and said that, sir, whenever I open the book, I am not getting interest. How do you get interest? Because you already wasted your mental energies on simple things. So create the routine. When you create the routine, when you are having the habits every day to do, today you read and tomorrow you don't read. After 1 month, you will read. Then by that time, again, prefrontal cortex only has to take that work. And this is the science. Why? Every time when you are making conscious decision, you are using willpower. Whenever you are using willpower, you will get exhausted. But if you can make it as automated, because of the environment which you create, whenever you are creating the environment and perfect system for you to do your complete your day-to-day routine, then the burden, whatever which was created by the prefrontal cortex, is transferred to the striatum, and you will be able to do very easily without any difficulty. That's why willpower is limited, but environment, when it comes to taking care of the by environment, it is unlimited, and there you will get succeed. And as I said, willpower is a temporary motivation, and then environment is a permanent. And this is where the problem comes in our lives, where every time we just rely on willpower. But now there should be change in our lives to change our environment. And what exactly we can do, if we can design our environment, we can design our future. Because every time when you depend on your willpower, then you are unnecessarily getting exhausted and you are not able to complete the big task in your life. But if you can design a good environment for your future in your life, then you can design your future itself. And we will talk about first physical environment, how you should set up your physical environment so that you will be less exhausted. You will be using less willpower. So the first and foremost thing is, keep healthy snacks. Generally, we always keep ourselves in a junk, and we buy the chocolates and we keep it in fridge, and we buy the ice creams, and we buy everything whatever which we want, and then we keep everything in the fridge, and then we expect not to eat chocolates and not to eat ice creams. But as I said, to take the decision to control yourself, you are using unnecessarily. Maybe you will be not eating after some time. Okay, you open your fridge door and you saw that ice cream, then your mind tells eat it, and then you're saying, no, I should not eat because I'm already overweight and it's a high calorie and like that. But there is a dialogue which is happening in your mind, right? That dialogue is happening and you're controlling yourself and you're resisting yourself. That all the resistance, whatever you're happening in your inside your brain, is consuming the energy inside. The precious energy, the willpower is getting consumed. Maybe after 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you will convinced, but in the 2 3 minutes you have wasted a lot of your precious mental energy in controlling yourself. Instead, if you don't have that ice cream itself, there is no trigger at all for you. There is no trigger at all, and that can save you so much of your mental energy that you can use on doing something important. So keep healthy snacks instead of junk food in your surroundings. And whenever you go outside also, don't keep any eye on anything and just focus on your own thing. And I'll tell you how to use that. And then use a tidy workspace, like a clean workspace, okay, organized workspace. Generally, what people do is they want to focus very much, 15 hours and 10 hours per day. And they know that they'll be working on computers. They know that they'll be studying every day for 1 hour, 2 hours. But what people do is they don't even have a proper setup to sit down also. What they will do, they will work on sitting in the bed and sitting in a normal sofa, chair. When you are keeping like that, what will happen when you are not sitting properly with some, ergonomics kind of, rules and regulations? After some time, you will slow down. The moment when you slow down, what happens whenever your back is not straight, then the amount of oxygen which passes to your brain will be cut down. Okay, the amount of oxygen which goes to your brain will be cut down. The moment when your brain is going shortage of the oxygen, then you lose the interest. That's why you feel sleepy. Whenever you want to study, then a lot of people go to bed and then they sit in the bed and they'll start doing their work and they start doing their reading the book. But after within 10-15 minutes, you will get sleep, but not interest to read. So this is the one big mistake people do. Keep organized yourself. What it will cost? It will cost nothing. Okay. So make sure that you buy something and set up a very good workspace. Buy one table, buy one chair. And anyhow, you will be working till the end of your life, right? You will be working as a software engineer. Maybe you'll be working with a computer and you'll be reading and learning every day. So why don't you have one small investment for your future? Maybe your kids will use and maybe your siblings will use. Maybe your parents also will use. That looks very professional. And when you are having very designated location for your work, then you will have that good energy to do the work. And when you keep clean your surroundings and all. But unfortunately, we make everything clumsy and we don't even clean our desk and we don't even have proper desk for our space to study and to learn something. And every time we sit in sofa and bed, then you expect to work like Elon Musk. Nothing happens like that. Okay, so be careful in terms of and organize proper environment when it comes to work or when it comes to learning. Then you will have that good environment. That's why a lot of people go to library, because there is a one proper setup is designed and that's why they get interest. But why don't you set up the similar kind of environment in your house itself? It would be a good investment. Okay, and keep your books nearby. A lot of times what happens is people always wanted to improve themselves, and but what they do, they buy the book from Amazon and they keep it in bureau or almar, and then whenever they want to do speaking buddy activity, they go and open it, and then again after that they keep it very safely. And then they always say that, sir, I am not able to get interest to read, I am not getting time to read. When will you get a time? Where will you get a time when you are always keeping your mobile aside but not the book, right? So every time mobile is very accessible, that's why you use it very frequently. But when I ask you to show me your book, then a lot of people have to move to their living room or their bedroom or their kitchen or their hall to bring the book. So can you show your books now without moving anywhere, whatever the books which I suggested? Okay, some people are showing, but remaining people. Okay, nice. So great. I appreciate the people who kept their books with them, and the people who are not keeping. Simple. Maybe you might have set it one place, but think of like this. Okay, and those who are joining from mobile, they can already they know that the mobile is in their hand only, they in front of them only. But those who are joining from laptop, always their mobile will be always with them only, 24/7. It will stick with their hand only. So whatever which is accessible to us, we use frequently that, and we keep our books at one place, but we keep our mobile every time with us only. That's why we ended up using mobile more than reading the book. Always have books nearby so that whenever you wanted to read, then you can immediately read. Otherwise what happens is, like, you are just lying in the bed and then you thought like, okay, I want to do reading, but your book is in the hall. To get up from the bed to come to the hall required a lot of mental energy and a lot of resistance is there. Then what will you do? Okay, after 1 hour I'll read. After 1 hour you don't even have that interest to read also, then you will simply leave that interest, no? This is what happens generally when we are not having something nearby, then we try to avoid it. Simple. Lot of times people ask me to just order the something in the Zomato or Swiggy. I don't have that app itself in my mobile. Then what I will do, okay, if I have to book, then I need to install the app and do something. Instead, I can go to my kitchen and I can prepare something instead of doing such things. So that kind of resistance I created to the bad habits and I created very less resistance to the good habits. Then I'll be ended up doing more and more good habits than the bad habits. Always decrease the number of steps you have to take care of in any doing any activity. And if the number of steps are very less, then you will be doing that activity more and more frequently. If the number of steps are more, then you will be doing that activity very less. So that's why always decrease the number of steps between the good habits and increase the number of steps between the bad habits. Then you will end up doing more good habits than the bad habits. Okay. And then positive self affirmations posters and something like that. Generally whenever I go to gym, I see a lot of good quotations on the wall and all. And whenever I lose my interest, then I look at the wall and then I read one thing: no pain no gain. And then immediately I feel like, okay, now I'm going through the pain, then only I'll get the gains, and I may get good physique and good look and all. But if I'm not going through this pain, then I may not get that kind of good physique which I wanted. And then in the same way, every day why I'm going to gym, it's a painful, but without going there I may not get what I wanted. And like that, every time whenever, if we read some good powerful lines, then the lines will immediately keep us on track and will be able to overcome from that initial temptations and pleasures, and we'll be focusing on our lives. So post such kind of affirmations, especially whatever the lines which you wanted, I can do it or something like that, or else positive motivational quotations which you like the most. And when you have them surrounded by in your physical environment where you are sitting most of your time, just have some wallpaper something like that on your desktop or on your wall or on your mirror, something like that. When you read them, you will be immediately changing yourself. So these are all the positive environment related changes which you can make to yourself in your day-to-day life. And keep healthy snacks around you, keep your surroundings very clean, and arrange one workspace properly for you. And then keep your books and whatever the good things which you wanted, and especially fruits also. And then post affirmations and motivational related quotes on your screen, so that that will be a reminder for you. Okay. And then next one is a digital environment. And nowadays, instead of very less people are living in physical environment, nowadays most of the people are living in digital environment only, means your mobile and your whatever you are using, right? So when I see some of the people mobile, if I open, there will be hundreds or 200s of notifications from all the apps, whatever the apps which they use. Every time they turn on their notifications. But in my mobile, I'll be only getting the notifications from only WhatsApp, that too because I run this platform, and I should be always be aware of and conscious about and be alert about what is happening in the groups. Because sometimes some people mindlessly share something instead of sharing to something, and they share to these groups, and sometimes they send funny things and all. So I should be vigilant in observing those things. But apart from WhatsApp, I don't get any notifications. All notification, even payment notifications also turned off. Phone Pay, Google Pay also I don't use, because anyhow money will be sent and credited. Why I need to look at something like that? So turn off notifications to all the things. And you think that, and a lot of times I see these people use way to news and all. Way to news and all. Why you need to know immediately about something and all? Not needed. Your life is much more happy without news and all. But when your moment when you see, then what will happen? Your amygdala triggers, then immediately it feels like, okay, there is a danger in your in our lives, and we should be alert and all. But 99% of the time you don't have to know what is happening around us, and unnecessarily you, when you read negative news, then your mind will become immediately negative. So better turn off the notifications to your Instagram, WhatsApp, and whatever are the apps which you are using. And when it is not needed, just keep quiet. Okay, keep your notifications off. And then set timers. Suppose you want to use some of the apps which you want to learn something and which you want to use. But unfortunately, what happens is there are the apps are very addictive. And the moment when you get inside that app, then you don't even realize the time also. So make sure that whenever you are using any digital platforms, have the timer set up, only use for limited amount of time. And then after that, it will automatically get closed if you use the timer. There is a digital screen lock, locker. Time setters will be there, and go to that and set up the time duration for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever the time which you wanted to use every day. You can use it, or else it's completely up to you. But in my case, I use the timer for Instagram because I don't want to use more than 1 hour. And that too, I'm doing these promotions in Instagram, and whatever you are getting to my class is truly because of Instagram only. But even though I'm doing so much of business out of this Instagram, but still I keep my timer for only 1 hour, because that 1 hour is enough. Otherwise, I'll be taking my classes and I'll be doing all the other things. And if I'm constantly indulge myself in Instagram, then I may not be able to take care of my other works which are assigned to me as a duty in this life. So that's why I set up the timer, and after 1 hour, no matter what happens, I just keep, and then tomorrow, next day only I will open. So like that, have the discipline. But there is no timer for WhatsApp, and I don't use any other apps also more than that time. Only Instagram and WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is for my running the classes. And then coming to the Instagram, I take care of the admissions whenever I get a time, and that is only for 1 hour. Okay. So delete distracting apps. Literally, before 6 months, there was no Instagram also for me. Means I used to have the account, but I never have it in my phone, and I always delete that app. And then I just keep quiet, because I don't feel like, I feel like, okay, I'm wasting my time, so much of precious time, and what is the use of that app like that? But recently, when I wanted to do these promotions and advertisement, then again I installed, and then I kept the timer, and now I'm not using. But if you are not creating anything in YouTube, sorry, Instagram, then better not to use it. Or if you want, you can delete also, because it is, because the Instagram is shaping your life. As I said, your environment is so powerful than your willpower, and your complete environment is having so much of distractions, then it is very difficult for you to have a willpower. That's why a lot of people say that, okay, you keep willpower, and you should have that self control even though something is tempting. But as I said, right, you are wasting so much of your energy, precious energy, in controlling yourself. What is the point of controlling, keeping some, something around us? It's like keeping yourself besides the mud and expecting that I'll be completely clean. But one day or the other, somebody will throw something, the stone also in that mud, then that will splash down and split on yourself, right? So that's why always keep yourself away from the negative environment and negative people and negative surroundings. In that way, then you will be always having so much of energy saved, instead of controlling and resisting yourself, not to open, not to see and not to watch such things. And there are a lot of people nowadays addicted to Netflix and Amazon. I don't even have such kind of apps. I don't even have any accounts also, because I'm not interested in watching such things. Yeah, if I wanted to watch movie, I'll go to a theater. That too very rare, because I don't even have a time also to watch movies. So think of like that, based on your schedule, based on your goals and aims, then only these things will be decided. If you have a goal of reaching to top level, then these will go eliminate from your life, because you don't get a time to do such things also. And you also observe yourself, after joining English therapy, you're not getting a lot of time to talk to your own parents also. We previously used to speak lot of hours to your relatives and friends and all. Now you don't even have that time also. Previously used to waste a lot of your time in gossiping with your friends and going out and these things. But nowadays you are saying, oh, I don't have time, and let me complete my habits. Otherwise, tomorrow Rakesh sir will ask me why you did not do like that. So that thought process goes in your mind. Why? Because now you have an ambition. Now you have an ambition to speak in English confidently and fluently, and to reach to high level. Then you have these automatical things will eliminate from yourself, because they don't have a time. And whatever, whenever you don't give enough time and attention, they will disappear from your life. Okay. And a lot of times people use unnecessary website for different things, and block the websites, whatever the websites which you have. And if you feel like the websites which you don't want to use, you can use this cold turkey and freedom, these kind of two extensions which can helpful for you to block your websites, whatever you indulge in doing something, illegal things and bad things. You can block them, these websites which could be time wasting and distracting for you. Okay, so deleting distracting things and blocking. And especially, I don't have this habit of going through this fashion related apps like Mintra and such things. Okay, but if you have such things, there are a lot of times I listen that whenever they got bored and they open that shopping apps, and then they completely scroll through and add through. So it's okay to do, but that's not a good habit to scroll through every day sometime and doing something. Okay, and limited information clutter. Okay, this is one more important thing. Whenever somebody pings me in Instagram, I see their followers count and follows count. Okay. Their followers are 200. They are following almost 2000, 3000 people. I don't know whom they are following and what they are following in Instagram. So guys, I don't know what you are following, and don't, everything is fake in Instagram. Okay. Remember that. They only show the bright side to you, and then whatever the dark side, they don't show. Not only are you showing your dark side in the social media? No, right? You know the truth about your own self. You have both good and bad in your own self. And what you project outside, only good side of you, and you always hide the bad side of yours, right? In the same way, why are you expecting that somebody else is going to be completely 100% genuine and pure, and he'll be only showing what is good? And I see a lot of cricketers, they follow a lot of heroines and heroes and all the people they follow. What is the point of following somebody else who is not being genuine and not having any direct impact on you and helping you in terms of changing your life? And also, a lot of people follow some English channel. Now also there are, I don't know why the people follow me. I never asked somebody to follow my Instagram, but still people follow me. I don't know why they follow also. They expect that I'll be sharing some free knowledge, or maybe they think that, okay, I learned something out of it. But remember, whatever you gain from Instagram is complete designed for infotainment. Okay, it's like a information but more of entertainment. Okay, infotainment. But a lot of people nowadays learn from the shots, 30-second shots and 3-second shots, 4-second shots. But that is like a clutter in your brain, that's saved as a clutter, not as a information. Because Instagram is never designed for the information, it is only designed for the clutter and entertainment. So if you are constantly consuming all the content from Instagram, then you are consuming the clutter, not any content. Remember that. Instead, rely on the YouTube. That will be having some duration of the videos, and there you can improve something. But what you can learn within 30 seconds reels and 10 seconds reels, tell me. And then you don't watch only one 30 seconds reel. You will be watching 100 or 230 seconds reels. By the end of that 2 hours of 3 hours of scrolling, you don't even remember what you watched also. So that much time wastage, and we don't have 10 minutes time to watch one video. We have 2 hours to watch 30 seconds reels. So you decide what you go with. And I would recommend, guys, don't follow unnecessary things. It's not needed. And you think that you get some information, you get some good knowledge. Instead, you rely on the other sources. Some good sources are available in YouTube. You rely on that instead of going with the Instagram. Change your things and don't follow unnecessary things. Whoever comes and whatever comes in your feed and all, they are all not suitable and not required for you. Instead, you rely on the YouTube videos which they will create for short long duration. There you will learn some good knowledge with a detailed explanation. Now you don't even know the context also. They'll create the as a facts in the Instagram. The facts will not help you. The content and the story behind the facts needed, then only facts will have the value. But just simply watching such things will not help you. So be careful with that. Guys, don't do trying. I'll conduct one day separate session for you. Okay, fine. Feed your brain with listen with the good content. Okay, so listening to the podcast and audiobooks, which I suggested to you. Digital environment in terms of I'm not asking you to read the books in Kindle and phone and all. I'm saying to listen to the audiobooks and podcast instead of listening to music. So that's how you can design your digital environment. Eliminate the music. If you wanted to be a singer, then you can listen to the music and songs. But if you really wanted to be a good communicator in English, then replace your music with audiobooks and podcasts. There you can gain some good knowledge in English. At the same time, you can also improve your English. Okay, how to speak and what to speak. But if you don't do these things with a control, I said actually, willpower has its own limitation, and environment is something has a more power. When I was improving my communication skills, when I got to know about audiobooks, then first and foremost thing was I deleted all the music apps, whatever which I have in my mobile. I deleted first. And then immediately what I did, I don't have anything now, and I only have to listen to the audiobooks which I created like that. And in between, if I want to listen to music, then I have to go to one app and download it and then listen. And it's a very big, as I said, I increased the number of steps to do that activity, and now I don't want to do it. Instead, now I can easily listen to the podcast. That's how I created my environment. When I created my environment in that way, then I don't have to depend on my willpower, because there is no option. I don't have to take option like, okay, I have one song is there, below one is audiobook is there. Which one to choose? I don't want to get into that kind of decision making and all. Why to waste my time and why to waste my energy? Instead, I can just simply rely on my directly on my environment. Okay, that's how I set up. And then next one is social environment, which is very, very important. Join any mastermind group for learning anything. Okay, either like a joining club or learning club or book discussion group. Such kind of, there are different groups are available. There is one app called Meetup. In that you will get to know these announcements if you are from Hyderabad, different places. Okay, where these kind of groups will be created, and then you can be part of good clubs and all. But as we already have our own English therapy, this is a one kind of group where people are all ready to do something and learn English communication skills and ready to discuss about what they are doing, good habits and daily habits. So we are taking care of all the other clubs. What they do individually, they discuss only about the books. They will only discuss about communication. They discuss about only health and all. But in this platform, we collectively discuss about each and everything what is good for our lives. So make sure to have such kind of groups around you and clubs around you, so that you will be always stay focused with your purpose. And have a growth buddy, like having one person in your life with whom you can share some progress about your weekly status or monthly status. I have two of my friends with whom I always connect once in a while in a month, and I share my progress, what I'm doing, how I'm doing, and I take some suggestions and I give some suggestions. Like we are all answerable to each other and accountable to each other. So I have that kind of responsible friend in my life, because that's how I arrange my friendship. And I don't keep everybody in my friend list, and I don't waste my time. I have some of my good friends with whom I constantly communicate and share my things. Okay. And distance from negative talkers, negative thinkers. Okay. So guys, don't do, be conscious about something. Okay. Yeah. So distance from negative talkers, limit the time with the gossiping and complaints. Okay. So make sure every time when you look at your life, you're always having that friends who always say that why you can't get the job now because of recession and all. That's how the people think. And they always say that why you can't change your life and why you can't improve yourself, like that. There are so many people always there who are always try to simple thing, our friends only, especially with whom we do, because they don't want to change and they don't want us to change. That's why they always want to pull us down. And when they are trying to pull us, we feel like, okay, our friend is not doing and we are also not doing something. Have you seen this kind of behavior? Then whenever we have exams, we call to our friend and ask, okay, have you started preparation when you have a tomorrow exam? They say that no, I have not yet started. Then immediately you feel happy. Okay, my friend is not started and let me also not start. And then after next day, you will get to know that your friend completed already syllabus and you have not yet completed also. So why these things happen? Because your friends are always plays that kind of tricks in with you. And you feel like, okay, my friend is genuine and all. Yeah, if you have such kind of friends, then you both get spoil your lives, no problem. Okay. So but most of the people fake the things and they want to get ahead of you, and that's why they just say normal, negative things. If you are surrounded by such kind of people, then distance yourself, because they are negative people and they are all your energy suckers. They suck your energy. And suppose I have seen this in my BTech. One day one motivational speaker came to our college, and then he was giving very good lecture, and I was really motivated in my BTech second year. I said that okay, today onwards I want to change my life. And I was fully motivated, and with that motivation only I was thinking, okay, tomorrow onwards I will be doing this thing, that thing, like that. I'm thinking in my mind, I want to change my life, like that. And the motivation that completed, the session completed, and we're all going from the motivational class to our normal classrooms. Then my friend said, whatever he said was completely not true, and we will not achieve our life like that. He just started saying something wrong things, like that. I was literally thinking that I can achieve something, but after listening to him, I feel, yeah, maybe it's true, right? I think I may not be able to achieve something like that. Immediately changed my mindset within matter of whatever he explained 2 hours with a lot of motivation. He just within 2 minutes, he removed me and made me demotivated again. So such kind of people also there in our lives who always constantly pull us down, and we ended up being like them only. And they don't want to grow and they don't want us to grow, because the moment when we started working on ourselves, they get fear inside. They don't get to sleep properly, and then they don't feel good, and that's why they don't want to do like us, but they don't want us to do good things also. That's why they always wanted to stop us by just saying some negative things. And use the proximity discipline, okay, principle. Spend more time with people who are all where you want to be. Like, be with the people whom you where you want to reach. Suppose you want to reach to a good communication level, then be with the good communicators and speak with them, and then just spend some time with them. Because they're already working on the goal which you wanted to reach. So it will become easy, and because they will share the steps and they'll share the suggestions whatever is needed for you, and then you can able to achieve whatever you want in your life. But unfortunately we always stay with the failures, and then the failures always have excuses and reasons why they failed, and then we listen to them and we also feel like, okay, it's difficult for me also, like that. But instead, if you can be with the people who are already successful in the field which you wanted to be successful, they will tell you the ideas and the suggestions how they achieved and what they achieved in their lives. So have that proximity principle, like spend more time with the people where you want to reach, and then you can easily get to there. So these are the environments. And the last one is attending the workshops and seminars regularly to build the high quality connections, like the kind of sessions which you are joining. And outside also there are a lot of webinars and sessions will goes around, online sessions. But not every session is something genuine and helpful, but you try to verify them and then be part of such kind of groups and clubs. Okay. And then as I said, that when you are surrounded by the people, they will shape your life. And when you are surrounded by the small mind people, they always discuss about the people. As I said every time, that when you are doing speaking body activity also, when you are talking about the third person, then you are having a small mind. Okay. In the speaking body activity, when you are speaking about third person, okay, she is like that, he is like that, and he is doing such things, like that. If you are discussing about someone else, then you are having the small mind. Okay. With that small mind, you will never achieve big goals, because the small minds are not designed for achieving the big goals. But the average minds discuss about the events. They talk about, okay, yesterday I went to one party and today I went to one event and function, like that. Most of the time, if your conversations are revolving around these things, then you're having the average mind. Okay, but the great minds discuss about ideas, what they are doing and what they are going to do and what exactly they want to achieve in their lives and how they can achieve, and what these things and all discussed by the great mind people. And you decide what what category you belong to, whether you belong to small mind, whether you are always discussing about third person and gossiping about someone, or discussing about the events which you have done something in the past or which you are going to attend the future parties and all or functions, or having some ideas and thoughts which could shape your life. So you decide. Okay, and this is very powerful line which I really liked. Your environment passes its character to you. The more you stay in certain kind of environments, that whatever the characteristics of that environment will passes to you, and you will be get influenced by that environment. Now you are all joining in my class, and here I am trying to create certain kind of environment and then creating certain character in you. But it's a good platform, that's why you might be shaping your future and shaping your character in a good way. But imagine the same line when you are in a very negative environment, and that negative environment, your environment passes its character to you, that negative environment passes the negative character to you, and then you will be ended up suffering with that negative. And every time there, whenever wherever you go, environment will pass its character to you till you reach to a stage where you can pass your own character to the environment. Okay, every time you see, right, generally don't be with bad people, because bad people will change you and you will also become bad, like that they'll say. Whenever there is a group of members, and if a group of members are having some bad habits, then every time the people will say that don't be with that kind of people, because they will change you into the bad way. And that's what true, when your environment is completely having the bad people and who are always having bad habits, then they'll try to pass those habits to you, and then you will be getting affected by those, because you will get that characters. But there is a line, it happens only to certain level. And if you reach to certain level, like where you can pass your own character to your environment, now nobody can change my characters and my behavior, because I have my own stage and I have my own standards. Now I will change the people around me, not I will change because of the people. So if there are bad people also, if you keep me with the bad people also, then I don't change myself with the bad peoples. Now in my room also, there are a lot of in the past people used to have a drinking habit and used to eat all the outside food and junk food. But I started taking care of my health and going to gym and eating healthy food and all. Now people started drinking and started eating junk food, and they don't even order from anywhere, and they simply start cooking in the room itself. So now I changed the environment, and they started following myself. But in the past, I used to get always get tempted by the people around me and their environment. Okay, so understand, your environment passes its character to you till you reach a stage where you can pass your character to the environment. Till that level, you should wait and control yourself. Then people will follow you as a role model. Okay, and that stage you will get to know when you be discipline your own self and having the good environment around you, instead of always relying on the willpower, because as I said, willpower is a limited. And surround yourself with the good people. As I said, surround yourself with the right minded people, then you will be always having so much great. And I like this line from Mahatria also, that even everything is going wrong also in your life, always make sure that your surrounding is good around you, then almost everything will be automatically good. And imagine in your place time where you are very happy at one point of time, because it could be a reason that you are all surrounded by the good people around you and the happy people around you. But now you are very sad and very bad every day, and you are always feeling low about yourself, because if you look at your life, maybe you are surrounded by that kind of people who are always complain everything about their lives. So think of like this and then change your life. Okay, tonight change one thing in your environment that support your dream. Anything it could be, change something from your, like if you are having junk in your fridge, throw them out. And if your desk is not clean, just clean that and then keep it safe and clean. So like that, there are anything in your life, as I said, you can delete any app which you are feeling like wasting your time and you don't want that app to be there in your life. Or maybe thinking that you have some friend who is always constantly provoking you and triggering you, you can just block him and then keep away yourself from him. So anything, something which you want to change to support your future or to change your future life. And that's it from my end. Thank you so much for joining and listening. And always make sure to have a good environment in your life, then that environment is something will change you completely, and that will always have a good impact on you to achieve your dream jobs and whatever you want. But always when you are surrounded by the negative people, then your life will be always maybe negative. and you may not achieve whatever you want. And remember one thing, how many of you know Henry Ford? As I said recently also, do you know Henry Ford? Have you listened anytime? He is the founder of Ford, okay, company, and he was the first one who is ever able to think that previously our transportation was on bullock carts and on horses and horse carts. But he is the one when he was working with the great scientist, not great, we used to consider great, but he is not good scientist, okay, but he did something to the humans. The scientist name is Thomas Alva Edison, who is the one like invented the bulb. He did a great things, but unfortunately, he's a very greedy man and who is very jealous on the other things. That's why he did something very bad. But I'll tell you other day. But this man, Henry Ford, was working as an engineer in the Thomas Alva Edison company at one point of time. And he was looking at the Thomas Alva Edison and looking at his creative mind and thinking that, oh, he's very innovative and how is he thinking in that direction like that. Then Henry Ford also started thinking, why can't I get that new ideas in my life that why he's only getting? He is surrounded by the creative and innovative person. Then he also thought of doing something which the world has never seen before. And then he come up with a engine model where he created the engine and then started building the automobile industry, and there onwards the entire transportation is completely changed. So that's what, when you are surrounded by the group of people who's thinking in that way, then your thoughts also will be like that only. But when we are surrounded by the people who always complain about why that idea doesn't work, then your mind also will always think why it will not work like that. And when you are surrounded by the people who are always saying that now market is not good, you will not get the job, then your brain also will think in the same direction and you will not also not get the job. And when you are surrounded by the people who are thinking that speaking in English is a difficult, then you will also feel like that is going to be true. But when you have the good environment where speaking becomes normal in English, then one day you will eventually become normal. See, you are joining here by paying a lot of money to me and then spending your time to improve communication skills, right, in English. But imagine if you born and brought up in US or UK, this becomes natural to you, right? Why? The environment around you is completely in English. So that's why environment is so powerful than the willpower. And always look for creating the good environment around you and have the right people around you, then your life will become much more easier than you ever think. But if you don't have such environment, then every step is going to be very difficult. Every time you will be using your mental energy to do that activity, and after doing that activity also you feel exhausted because you wasted a lot of your energy in doing that. So instead, have that free flowing area and environment and surroundings, then sustaining with the good habits will become easy. And be part of good people, and don't even though if you feel like somebody is not good, then cut down the friendship with them, because at the end of the day what matters to you the most is you, now no one else. But unfortunately, if you sacrifice everything for somebody else, and then at one point of time you feel regret for what you did and what you lost in your lives. So that's it from my end. Hope you learned something. And remember that concept of amygdala, prefrontal cortex and striatum, where if you do something repeatedly, then the most of your energy will be saved, and then that spread it to the that responsibility is given to the striatum part, and that will do something for you automatically, which you do regularly with a habit. But every time when you are doing something new every time, then you will have to spend a lot of your energy, and that make you feel exhausted, and at the end of the day feel tired. So this is from my end. Thank you for joining and listening patiently. And yeah, that's all from my end. And if you want to speak anything or ask anything, you can ask.